Lake Nyasa. A story of beauty, life, and warning. Crystal clear blue water stretches as far as the eye can see. You can see deep into the lake, like the sea. Golden beaches lie quietly along the shore, white and soft, rare for African lakes. Colorful fish move like living light. Blues. Yellows. Oranges. Mountains touch the water. Green hills fall straight into the lake. Everything feels calm. Peaceful, sunrise and sunset feel holy. It is stunning. Tourists come, and come back again. From far away. From all over the world, this lake attracts the world. Locally, Africans have always called it Lake Nyasa, the Lake of Stars. Foreigners later named it Lake Malawi. Two names, one ancient water body. This is Lake Nyasa. This is Lake Malawi. Lake Malawi was formed as part of the East African Rift System, where the African land itself is slowly breaking apart. Deep below the ground, powerful forces are pulling the continent into two pieces, the Nubian side in the west and the Somali side in the east. As the land stretched, it became weak. In many places, earthquakes and volcanic activity followed. Lake Malawi itself is not a volcanic lake, but the heat and movement around it helped crack the land and keep the deep valley open for millions of years. This process began around 8 to 9 million years ago, and it is still happening today. Small earthquakes still occur, reminding us that this lake lies in a living, slowly changing part of the earth. For thousands of years, Lake Nyasa was full of life. Fish were abundant. The lake fed communities without being exhausted. It became famous across the world for its extraordinary variety of cichlid fish, small, colorful fish found almost nowhere else on Earth. Scientists have documented over 700 species of cichlids in Lake Malawi. Many glow with bright colors, like jewels moving underwater. This made the lake one of the most biodiverse freshwater ecosystems on the planet. But this beauty came with responsibility. And slowly, that responsibility was lost. For thousands of years, Africans lived close to nature. They respected water, forests, animals, and seasons. Culture and survival were linked. Nature was not something to conquer. It was something to live with. But after colonization, a dangerous mindset entered Africa. People were taught to think like their Western masters, that nature exists to be used, exploited, and emptied. That forests are only timber. That lakes are only food. That resources must be taken fast, before someone else takes them. But in reality, no one can take the lake to Europe, it will remain in its place. This mindset must change. Africans must return to their basics, respect, balance, restraint. Only then can they protect what they still have. Fish in Lake Malawi were abundant for thousands of years, but serious decline began after the 1970s, when fishing pressure became too heavy. Population increased. Fishing became commercial. Nets became bigger, finer, and more aggressive. People did not come to the lake to pollute it. They came to survive. Governments failed to plan, and the lake slowly began to suffer. For decades, around 60,000 fishermen worked on Lake Malawi every day. That means nearly 12,000 boats went out daily, morning and night, year after year. Fishing never stopped. Small fish were taken. Fingerlings were taken. Even fish fry was trapped. Nothing was left to grow back. For a long time, the lake still gave fish, so people believed it would never end. But nature has limits. The lake fed millions of people for centuries, now it is tired of its own people. Today, the reality is painful. A large boat with 10 to 15 men can spend the whole day on the water and still fail to catch even 20 kilograms, and that only happens on a lucky day. The lake that once fed millions now struggles to feed those who depend on it most. Fishing has now reached a dangerous stage. Fishermen catch fingerlings and very small fish, dry them in the sun, and sell them as food. Big fish have almost disappeared. Catching a large fish now happens maybe once in a year, and even that is by accident. Nets are everywhere. There is not a single square meter of the lake left without netting. Shallow water. Deep water. Breeding areas. Feeding areas. Nothing is spared. This is no longer fishing. This is exhaustion. At the same time, water quality has collapsed. Some cichlid species have already gone extinct, not only because of fishing, but because pollution destroyed their habitat. Streams of untreated sewage flow directly into the lake from towns. There are no proper treatment plants. Forests around the lake have been cut down, causing soil to wash into the water. Climate change brought new stress, but still no serious reforestation was done. The governments knew the danger. They knew people living on the shore would pollute the lake. Yet they allowed it. They did not provide fishing families with any real alternative for a livelihood. There was no long-term plan. No buffer zones. No enforcement. Instead, leaders waited, hoping America or Europe would come and fix the problem. It was a huge mistake. Pure stupidity. The lake paid the price. Lake Nyasa is not just water. It is life, food, culture, and memory. It is fishermen pushing boats at dawn. Women drying fish under the sun. Children learning to swim before they learn to write. It is songs, stories, and survival passed through generations. The beauty is still there, the clear water, the golden beaches, the mountains, the peaceful mornings. But beneath the surface, life is struggling. If nothing changes, this lake will become another African tragedy. But it is not too late. If Africans return to their roots, respect for nature, balance with resources, planning for the future, Lake Nyasa can still heal. Fish stocks can recover. Forests can grow again. Pollution can be stopped. But this will only happen when Africans stop waiting for outsiders and take responsibility for their own land and water. Lake Malawi attracts the world. But only Africans can protect it. This is the story of Lake Nyasa, also called Lake Malawi, a lake of beauty, life, warning, and choice. What happens next depends on whether humanity learns or repeats the same mistake again.